Over the last two episodes, we've been making our way through the first half of the Radiant compassion process, learning to meet ourselves with compassion as we step into who we're becoming. We began with compassionate awareness, the art of seeing ourselves without judgment. Then we moved into compassionate understanding, making our patterns make sense. And with that came acceptance. Not approval, just allowing what is true to be true. And when we can do that, when we can truly see, understand, and accept ourselves, sometimes something else arises. And it's something we don't always expect. Grief. Grief for what shaped us, grief for what we needed and didn't receive, grief for the parts of ourselves we set aside in order to earn approval or to stay safe. Grief for the identities we built just to survive. Understanding doesn't mean we have to keep carrying all of it. Sometimes understanding is exactly what allows us to finally let go. So today we move into step 3 of the Radiant compassion process, compassionate release. Hey, it's Kelly G, your Radiance coach. Welcome to the Embodied Radiance podcast, episode number 7. Compassionate release is not about rejecting who you've been. It's not about deciding that your coping strategies were wrong or shaming the parts of yourself that learned to survive the way that they did. Release begins with honoring what protected you, honoring what helped you get here. Before we can let go of anything with real grace, we have to acknowledge this mattered. This served a purpose. This got me through. That acknowledgement is what makes release compassionate rather than just another form of self-rejection dressed up as growth. I want to acknowledge something directly here. So much of real healing includes grief. And grief isn't only about losing someone you love. Grief shows up in the healing process in ways we don't always recognize or give ourselves permission to feel. Sometimes grief looks like finally seeing how much energy survival required and feeling the weight of that for the first time. Sometimes it's recognizing how long you've been abandoning yourself in ways that were so familiar, they felt normal. Sometimes it's simply the ache of outgrowing something that once kept you safe. And when that grief arises, we often want to push past it. We want to rush. We want to get to the growth part, the healed part, the after. But grief isn't an obstacle to becoming. Grief is part of becoming. It acknowledges and clears what was never fully felt. It makes space for what's real. And what we don't grieve has a way of quietly traveling with us into what comes next. Many of the identities we built were built around one of our most fundamental human needs, the need to belong. We needed to know we were safe, to feel connected and loved and enough. And so we learned often very early who we needed to be to try to make that happen. But here's the thing. What most of us were actually taught was how to fit in. And fitting in is not the same as belonging. Fitting in asks you to change who you are in order to be accepted. True belonging never requires that. But when we're young and dependent, we don't know the difference. We just know what keeps us safe and connected. And so we adapted, we fit in, and we called it belonging. And that makes sense. Maybe you became the easy one, the strong one, the responsible one, the peacekeeper, the one who never needed too much. And those roles worked at that time. They kept things stable. They kept you connected. But when we start to release those identities, it can feel terrifying because on some level, the nervous system still believes that how you are seen is what keeps you safe. And if you stop being who you have always been, your nervous system doesn't yet know what comes next. That fear is real and it deserves compassion too. It's not resistance to growth. It's a nervous system that learned that you had to earn approval and acceptance. It learned to equate how you showed up with safety. And now it needs to be shown gently and over time that you are safe enough to shift that. Compassionate release asks a simple but profound question. What am I carrying that I no longer need? What role, what belief, what expectation, what protective pattern has been running so long it just feels like me, but maybe it isn't? And can I trust that I'm safe enough now to begin letting it go? Not all at once, just a little, just enough to create some space. Because release is often quieter and way less dramatic than we imagine. Sometimes it looks like not explaining yourself when you feel the urge to, letting someone misunderstand you without rushing to fix it, not over functioning when you could let someone else carry their own weight, resting when you've been taught that rest has to be earned. Maybe it's saying no or asking for help or letting yourself actually need something. These are releases too, small, tender, real ones. I want to guide you through a ritual that I created several years ago as a way of releasing old habits, identities, patterns, and protections in a compassionate way. And what I love about this ritual is that it honors the full journey, not just the letting go part, but the seeing, understanding, honoring, and then releasing. So I invite you to practice with me. If you're able, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a breath here and bring to mind the thing that you're ready to release. Maybe it's a habit or a pattern, an emotional response, an identity, a behavior, or a role. Let that arise and picture yourself in that pattern, in that role, in that habit, whatever it is. See it clearly in front of you. And once you do, I invite you to say to it, I see you. And then just take a few breaths here, really turning toward it, not avoiding, not fixing or changing, just seeing it clearly. And now say to it, thank you for everything you have done for me. And let yourself acknowledge what it gave you, how it helped, how it protected, how it soothed, how it kept you safe. And once you've acknowledged that, then say, but for now, I am moving on. And now take a breath in and feel that breath flowing in through the front of your heart. And as you exhale, feel that breath flow out through the back of your heart. And again, breathe in through the front of the heart and out through the back. And one more time, in through the front. And on this exhale, I invite you to say, I release you. And visualize what you're releasing gently moving behind you. Not erased, not destroyed, not denied, just no longer in front of you, no longer leading. And then, if it feels supportive, imagine the space before you, open, clear, available, a space for possibility. And just allow that space to be there. Take one more breath here. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You can do this ritual as many times as you need with the same thing or with different things that you're releasing. If you repeat this ritual again and again with the same thing, it doesn't mean you failed to let go. It may simply mean you are releasing something that your system has carried for a really long time. I invite you to keep this recording handy so that you can come back as many times as you need. Compassionate awareness helped us to see. Compassionate understanding helped us to make sense of what we found. And compassionate release helps us to let go with appreciation and with grace. Not because what we're releasing was wrong, but because we're allowed to grow beyond it. We're allowed to become someone new without betraying who we had to be. Next time we move into the final step of the radiant compassion process, compassionate responsibility. The step where we stop asking who you had to be and start asking who you want to become now. So until then, honor what shaped you, grieve what you're releasing, and trust what's emerging. And as always, let your life shine.